all of a sudden we were talking about it, and there you were with it written behind you. Shabbat Shalom. Okay. So it's nice to see everybody. Iris, I'm glad you were able to get on. Um, and we are recording, and this week we've got Elizabeth Samuels. I think this is the first time you've all met her. And we started the recording after she got on, and all is well. So everybody now can see and hear everything. We're going to start today by reading together the prayer for the state of Israel. Is anybody ready to lead that yet? Not yet. Okay. Do you all have a Siddur? Does everyone have a Siddur? No, Iris does not. Okay. So I will share the screen. It will be up on the screen. If you have a Siddur, you can find it in your Siddur. It's in the middle of the, I don't have the page numbers, but it's in the middle of the Torah service.
178.
Which book are you using? In
Lev
Lev
Shalem.
Shalem? Okay, so 178 in Lev Shalem. And those of you using Sim Shalom, have you found it? My computer's doing strange things. Sorry. Okay, you should all be able to see this. And if you have a Siddur, you can go ahead and use that.
149 for
Sim
this
Shalom.
one.
Okay, and I'm going to use.
Barbara, I would read it if you want.
Oh, who just said that?
Iris.
Oh, Iris, excellent. I will let you be the leader. Let me just get to the page though in my Siddur, because when I share the screen, I can't see all the words.
I mean, I'm going to read it. I'm going to do my best.
Oh, that's all we ask.
Okay.
Do your best. Go as slowly as you need to go. Take your time. This is a safe place to be. Sometimes when people are reading, I take notes so that I know what kinds of things we need to go over. So go ahead.
Okay. Avinu Shebashamayim Tzur Yisrael V'Go'alo Barech Et Medinat Yisrael Reshit Tzemichat Geulatenu Hagen Aliyah Be'evrat Chasdecha Uferos Alecha Sukat Shelumecha Ushelach Orecha Ve'amitecha Le Resh Ra Sheyecha Sariha Ve'yoatseya Ve'taknes. I don't know if that's Ve'atza Tova Milfanecha Chatzek Et Yedei Meginei Eretz Kadeshenu Ve'hanchilem Eloheinu Yeshua Ve'eteret Nitzachon Te'aterem Ve'natata Shalom Ba'aretz Ve'simchat Olam Le'yosheveya Ve'nomar. Amen.
Yasher koach. Very nice.
Very
Okay.
glad to get to Amen.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. Yes, and everyone's clapping for you. Thank you for having the courage and the strength, the koach to try. Okay, this is it's not an easy prayer to read, and it takes some courage just to read it, even in front of our small group. Okay. I just want to take a look at this prayer for a moment. So I'm going to share the screen so that Iris can see the prayer. But I want to point out something that's in it. You'll find it a lot in the text. I think it's in all of the Sidurim. I'm not sure because I just didn't open the others right now. But I'm going to share the screen again so that I can just point out a couple of things that are that you're going to find in the Sidur. And I have to remove everybody's pictures because we're all blocking my screen. So I want to just take a look at the symbols that are under the line. And when we get to the Shema, we're going to find even more symbols there. But for right now, I just want to take a look at the very first word in the prayer, which is Avinu. And it looks like this letter bet has two vowels. It's got this dot, and that one nikud, that one dot, always makes the sound E. But next to it, to the left, is this straight line. And here it is in Avinu. I lost my cursor. Avinu, and it's in the next word too, Sheba Shamayim. Anybody have an idea what that line it means? Now I can see everybody. Anybody have an idea what that straight line is? That's
Is it a hard stop?
It's an accent mark.
I was gonna say, is it an emphasis?
It's giving you emphasis, telling you that's where the emphasis goes. Because in Hebrew, most of the words have their emphasis at the end of the word. And so that first word, Avinu, it's not Avinu. That's not how it's pronounced. And the same with Shamayim. It's not pronounced Sham. I don't know if I can do it. It's not, I'm going to try to read it. Shaba Shamayim. It's not, that's not how it's pronounced. So they're telling us where the emphasis is going in that word. Sometimes it's done with a let me show you again. Sometimes the emphasis is shown with a vowel. Let me see if I can find the word that I saw before. No, now I don't see it. Whenever you see this line though, let's take a look in the second line. No, that's not the one I want. Okay, so let's take a look in the second line where it says Hagen Aleha, even though there is a yud following this vowel, and even though it's got this line under it, this segol doesn't change how you pronounce the word. This segol always remains an eh. So the word, even though there's a yud here, the word is pronounced aleha. Let me find another one. Here's another one. It's the same word actually, but there's a yud. It's going to still be pronounced aleha. And then right underneath we have veyo seha. There's a yud there, but it's not going to change this pronunciation. The only time that pronunciation is changed by a yud is with this vowel in Hebrew. When in Hebrew, in conversation, in modern Hebrew, this is pronounced eh. Just like that segol, it's pronounced, where that's how I hear it, eh. But when there's a yud following it like this, it's pronounced a. Yadeh. And this, and in biblical Hebrew, that those two dots that are next to each other, biblical Hebrew, they're always pronounced A, even though in conversation they're pronounced E. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody have any questions? Yeah, Iris?
So can so I don't know if I understand what you're saying. You're saying that the line is telling you that you still pronounce the "e" regardless of what comes after the line.
Yeah, that line doesn't have anything to do with the pronunciation of the sounds. It only has to do with the emphasis, where
Oh.
the emphasis is placed in the in the word. So in the first word, you pronounce the word Avinu. Everybody is saying that one correctly, but that's how it's pronounced. So even though there's a yud and there's all kinds of other stuff, those straight lines are really just put in for our benefit, so we know how to pronounce the word correctly. It's not, they're not in every Siddur. They're not in every book. You'll find in our Siddurim that they let you know when the shva is pronounced and when it's silent, because they'll make the shva, those two dots that are like this, one on top of the other, when it's pronounced in the Siddur, they're making them big. They're making the two dots big. And when the shva is not pronounced, they make them small. So they give us hints in these Siddurim. This is to help American Jews, Jews from the United States and Canada. This is to help us read the Hebrew. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, then what we're going to do now is in your Siddur, find Sim Shalom, because we're going to do a little bit of review and then we're going to move on. So I'll share the screen again. But you can find, and I'm sorry that it's a little bit blurred it goes blurry when I do the slideshow. It's not blurred when I'm putting the slides together, and I have to work on this a little bit. But in Sim Shalom, you will find in Lev Shalem, it's on page 165. And in Siddur Sim Shalom, it's on page 376. And in the Sim Shalom for Shabbat and holidays, it's on page 187.
It's also in our textbook, Barbara.
And it is in the textbook as well. Yeah, you can find it in the textbook.
It's on 28.
Thank you. So if you want to read it from this textbook, you can do that also. Okay. We're going to sing it right now. And pay attention as we're singing this particular melody and watch the words, okay? Especially in the chorus, in the first line. Sim, 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 shalom. Sim shalom tova uvracha ba'olam. Sim, sim, sim shalom tova uvracha. Chen v'chesed berachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Barchenu Avinu kulanu ke'echad be'or panecha. We're going to go back to the beginning for the chorus. Sim, sim, sim shalom. sim shalom tova uvracha ba'olam, sim shalom tova uvracha. Ki ve'or panecha natata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Torat chaim ve'ahavat chesed utzedaka uveracha verachamim ve'chaim ve'shalom. And we're back to the beginning. Sim shalom. Sim shalom tova uvracha ba'olam. Sim shalom tova uvracha. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amecha Yisrael. Bechol eit uvechol sha'a. I didn't sing that right. Bechol eit uvechol sha'a bishlomecha. Sim shalom. Sim shalom tova uvracha ba'olam. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Baruch ata Adonai Hamevarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Okay, what did you notice about the first line?
The words were not, I mean, it skipped that third word and then you went back to it.
That third word was the word ba'olam. So here's what's really interesting about this particular word. The word ba'olam was added in the late 1970s or early 80s by the conservative movement to our Sidurim. And they did it in accord with a 10th century prayer book of Sadia Gaon. And Ba'olam was usually included at the end of the prayer in that Sidur. But the conservative movement published Ba'olam in the first sentence. And the addition of the word Ba'olam, and what does Ba'olam mean? Olam is the world. Okay, Ba'olam, in the world, the whole world. Okay. The addition of that word meant that this prayer, remember we talked about this prayer last week, that the theme is peace. And the word shalom showed up, 4 times in 4 different manners, 4 different ways. But the addition of Ba'olam meant that the peace was for the whole world, not just our community or the Jewish community or us or me. It was peace for the whole world, which is really what we need right now. We need some peace in the whole world. So that's the reason. And so a lot of our melodies for Sim Shalom were composed before this, before the 1970s. And so there are some Sim Shalom melodies that don't include it. So let me sing one more, just the first part of it, so you can hear how one cantor added the word Ba'olam to the prayer. So I'm share the screen again. Okay. Now I got to get his melody. Okay, here we go. Sim shalom ba'olam tova uvracha chen v'chesed. Okay, when he inserts that ba'olam, it doesn't even, you can barely hear the word because he sings it much faster than I just did. And so it almost sounds like he's going seem shalom bum da dum something like that. But he's actually adding the word ba'olam and he's just kind of sticking it in there. So that's one of those very old melodies that predates the word ba'olam in the prayer. Just a little bit of trivia about Sim Shalom. Any questions about Sim Shalom? Or Adon Olam, which we did last week also. Okay, then I want to compare some letters that look similar and show you some words that they're in. So I am going to share the screen so that you can all see these pairs. Okay, everyone can see this, I hope, because I can't see you. All right, now I can see you again. Okay, so we have these two letters that look very similar because they are the same letter. This is the letter Kaf. And the difference is this dot in the middle. And the dot gives it what sound? Somebody call it out. What sound does it get with this? Say it again.
Ka, it's the K sound.
Like a K sound, right? K. Thank you. Okay. And without the dot, what sound do we get? Okay, we get that guttural. All right, so here are some words that have, so we don't confuse them. It's the same letter. And understand that when you are reading without vowels, you just have to kind of know the meaning. So here are two words that show up in our prayers. The first, we'll read it together, so everybody mute so that you can read it out loud. Okay, here we go. So we'll read it together. The first word is k'chol. We'll do it again. K'chol. You gotta get used to it, that's all. And the second word, I'm sorry, ki-chlot. Ki-chlot. Okay, how was that? Everyone okay? Yes? All right. I can't see everybody at the same time, so I have to keep shifting the screen. All right, let's do another one. Another pair that look alike. All right, you've seen this before, right? Everybody's seen it. Okay, so we have the letter shin. And we did go over this once last week. When the dot is on the right side of the letter, it's pronounced sh, like she, okay, or shalom. And when the dot is on the left side of the letter, it's pronounced like s or seam. And I told you all the little hint to remember which side is which. A sin is never right. Okay. All right. So we'll read these two words, which everybody read correctly before. Sim shalom. Okay. And now let's find two more. Now this one is more difficult than the other two. Only because right now you can see it very clearly. You can see very clearly that this letter Tav has a little toe or foot, a toe, and the letter Chet does not. And it's so clear right here. But when you're reading quickly in a Siddur and the letters are smaller and it's a different kind of a font, it's a fancier Siddur font, it's not quite as clear. So here we have two words. And and I picked this specifically because we've got the letter Tav right next to the letter Chet. So let's read this together. Torat Chaim. All right, one more time. Torat Chaim. And it's just a matter of practice and looking. And as you practice and you read more and more, you'll, first of all, you'll recognize the words. So you probably would never say Torah when you saw this anyway. But other words are, it's easy to mix them up. Okay, one more. All right. Now, we've got this letter Samach, which makes the sound of S. And we've got this letter, which is the final mem, a mem sophite, a mem that only comes up at the end of a word. So in this word, which is in one of our prayers, veyanusu, that can't ever be a mem. It can never be pronounced mem, yanumu, because it's in the middle of the word. Here's a mem that would be in the middle of the word that they don't really look alike. Okay. Where it can get confusing is at the end of the word. So we have the word Mirushalayim. Well, we know the word Yerushalayim, so we're probably not going to mess this one up. But there are probably if there are other words that we might make an error. Okay, so in the prayer book, in the Siddur, this Samach and the Mem Sophit look very, very similar. They look very similar. And what you're going to find is the top part looks the same. And it's right here that you're going to see a curve. And that's going to be the difference between your Mem Sophit and your Samach in the Siddur. All right, so we'll read these two words. Okay. Veyanusu and Mirushalayim. All right, when you are
Barbara, I have a question about the previous slide.
oh, okay. Sorry, I'll go back.
So last week when we were reading, what really threw me off was in the second line, the Vav, because like I have, for example, like the cards, you know, with the Aleph Bet, and I never saw that for Vav, that letter, the thing that looks like an L, and it really threw me off. I didn't realize that was a Vav.
Wait, which word are you looking at?
The second line, the first letter, Ve.
Oh, this straight line.
Yeah. I'd never seen that before.
Yeah, it's this font, and this is the only font that Microsoft Word has for me to use on my Mac.
Okay, that explains it. Because I was like, "What? I've never seen that letter before." Okay, that's good to know.
But when you are writing in script, it's just a straight line. So it's this font.
Thank you.
Yeah. Otherwise, it usually has a little on the top. It has a little line extending out, but it's a small line. Yes, and not only that, but in this font, the nun Sophie, the final nun, is just a straight line down. And that's the same as in Hebrew script when you're writing. Okay. Any other questions? All right. That's just a bit of practice. Okay, today we're going to take a look at the Torah service. In your textbook, if you have a textbook, it's on page 32 and 33 that we're going to be. So I'm going to share the screen because I have this page on my slides. Okay. And you can either read it from the textbook, which may be clearer, or read it from the screen. But I would like a volunteer to just read this first sentence, this introductory sentence to the Torah service. So volunteer, it's in English, mostly. Dale, go ahead.
The key passage, Vayahi in Su'ah, bin So'ah, which is sung before the open ark, consists of 3 sentences. While they all deal with Torah, they relate to 3 different periods of history.
Thank you. Very nice. Okay. So you can find this also in your Siddur. In Lev Shalem, it's on page 168. In Sim Shalom, it's on 394. And in Sim Shalom for Shabbat and holidays, it's on 139. This is a very dramatic part of the service. And we talked about it a little bit. This part of the service has an awful lot of drama in it. In most synagogues, everybody is seated for the first part of the Torah service, which begins with Ein Kamocha. And many synagogues use this melody, but it sounds like Ein Kamocha Elohim Adonai Ve'en Kema'asecha. Does that sound familiar? And I can't see everybody at one time, so everybody's there with me, right? Great. Okay. And we're usually seated for this first part of the synagogue, of the service. But in many synagogues, there are other synagogues where people stand all the way at the beginning. There's a lot more drama, though, if you wait, if the synagogue waits until we get to the part where the ark is going to be open, and we rise. And then we get to this first part, which begins with Vayahi bin Soah. So let's just read it together. You can read it from the textbook. You can read it from your Siddur. We're going to read the first sentence. Let me read it in English. As the ark traveled, Moses would say, "Arise, O Lord, and may your enemies be scattered, and may your adversaries flee before you." Let's read the Hebrew. Vayehi bin Soah ha'aron vayomer Moshe Kuma Adonai Veyafutsu Oyevecha Veyanusu Misanecha Mipanecha. Okay. The next sentence. For out of Zion shall come forth Torah and the word of God out of Jerusalem. Well, let's read this too. Ki mitzion te say Torah udevar Adonai mirushalayim. And the final sentence is the bracha. Baruch Shenatan Torah Le'amo. I got to read it from my book. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm having trouble seeing it. Le'amo Yisrael Bikdushato. And I know in here, I don't know, it looks like there's a yud where there's supposed to be a vav. Praised be he who in his holiness gave the Torah to his people Israel. This is all very, very dramatic. We haven't even we're standing there now. We've stood up. We're standing in front of this ark that's open. And after we say Baruch Shenatan Torah Le'amo Yisrael Bikdushato, then the Torah is lifted out of the ark and either handed to the cantor or handed to the person who's going to carry it, or sometimes the person who takes it out of the ark holds it, whatever the different customs are in different synagogues. But the Torah is removed from the ark, from the Aron Kodesh at this point. So I want to take a look at these two sentences. Okay. Hotza'at HaTorah is what it says up at the top, which means taking the Torah out of the ark. And here you can see Numbers, or Bamidbar, chapter 10, verse 35. When the ark was set out, Moses would say, "Advance, O Adonai, may your enemies be scattered and may your foes flee before you." So the translation's a little different from what he has in the textbook, but it's still the same words. Here we are, Numbers 10:35, Bamidbar 10:35, Vayahi bin Soa Ha'aron Vayomer Moshe Kuma Adonai V'yafutsu Oyevecha V'yanusu Misanecha Mipanecha. Same exact words. We could even sing it from with we're not going to sing the trope, but we can sing it the way it may be sung in your synagogue. Vayahi bin Soa Ha'aron Vayomer Moshe Kuma Adonai V'yafutsu Oyevecha V'yanusu Misanecha Mipanecha. Now, where did the next line come from? It came from Isaiah, chapter 2, verse 3. And the many people shall go and say, "Come, let us go up to the mount of God, to the house of the God of Jacob, that we may be instructed in God's ways and that we may walk in God's paths. For instruction shall come forth." They're giving this is Sepharia telling you what that means. From Zion, the word of God from Jerusalem. So we're going to go here to the middle of this sentence. Right here, we're going to start with the word ki. And let's see what it says. Ki mitzion teitzei Torah udevar Adonai mirushalayim. And we can probably sing it just the way we did with Vayahi ben Soa. Ki mitzion teitzei Torah. Ki mitzion teitzei Torah. Udevar Adonai mirushalayim. And then comes the bracha. Okay. Was that a melody you were familiar with? Yeah, it's that's a pretty universal melody. I've heard that melody all over the world.
It's so moving. It goes right to your soul.
And whoever composed it, I can ask my son, he knows who the composers were, but whoever composed that melody right now is what they call a Sinai, from Sinai, that because we've sung the same thing for so long, it's as if that's what they were singing when the Torah was given to us at Mount Sinai. There's a composer, somebody wrote that melody, but it contributes to the drama on the bima. This is a case of this is a show that's being put on right now, and we're used to this show because we see the same show every week, every time that Torah, or every Shabbat, every holiday, whenever that Torah is taken out of the ark. Even on weekdays, we have a mini version of it, same prayers being sung. This Vayehi ben So is very powerful. And what's interesting about these two sources, the first one comes from the Torah, so that we're talking about Moses, and the second one comes from the prophets. We're talking about Isaiah, and there's a span of about 600 years between Moshe and Isaiah. And yet, we as their heirs, we hear this melody, we sing these verses, and it's as if they lived around the corner from each other. It's like the verses fit together. The verse from Numbers and the verse from Isaiah, they fit together, and it's just as if they were meant to be like that. So it's kind of that's kind of interesting. Okay, any questions about Vayehi ben Soa? We're going to go to the next part of the Torah service. I'm not in the right place. We're in the textbook still. We're on page 33. Okay. So, need another volunteer to read in English. We're on the second part of the Torah service. We've now it's walked around the sanctuary, and it's up on the bima, and we've read it, and we're finished reading from the Torah. So we're on part 2, part B, which is called Hagbaha. All right, a volunteer to read the introductory sentence in English, and there's no Hebrew in it, only English. So I can't see all of your pictures, so if somebody just unmute and read that introductory sentence.
As the Torah scroll is lifted and 3 columns of writing are displayed before the congregation, the worshipers proclaim in song.
Okay.
And this.
Okay. That's fine. All right. So now here we are. The person lifts this Torah and opens it up, turns around and faces the congregation, so that when he or she lifts it up, he separates the thing so we can see the words. So even if you weren't honored with an aliyah, so you could see the Torah being read, you get your chance. Everyone in the congregation gets a chance now to see those words that were just read. All right. So in your book, it's in your if you're in a Siddur, I don't have the pages written, but you can flip through, but we can read it right from the textbook. We're going to read the words and then we'll sing it. Okay. Vezot HaTorah Asher Sam Moshe Lifnei V'nei Yisrael Al Pi Adonai Biyad Moshe. And this is the Torah which Moses set before the children of Israel by the command, or it says al pi, from his mouth, by the command of God through the hand of Moses. God passed this down to Moses, and Moses shared it with us. And we can sing it. There's more than one melody for this, but I'm just going to sing one. So let's sing it together. Vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai biyad Moshe. So now we've lifted the Torah. The person ties it and wraps it up, and we'll hear a reading from the Haftarah, from the prophets. And then we'll go through all of those prayers following, including the prayer for the state of Israel. And then it's time to return the Torah to the ark, Hachnasat HaTorah. So let me go to the next. In your book, it's on the same page. All right, we're going to return the Torah to the ark. When we get to this prayer, we've already walked around the sanctuary. Torah is put back into the ark. And may I have a volunteer to read the introductory paragraph or sentence about returning the Torah to the ark? Somebody just unmute and read it, please.
The Torah is considered the source of our spiritual life, the symbolic tree of the eternal life and miraculous staying power. As we return the Torah to the ark, we sing.
Okay, thank you. Here we go. So this is the second paragraph in the Torah, in the Siddur. The first part of this prayer is usually sung, is usually said silently, and this is the end. This is what everybody will sing. The Torah is a tree of life to those who uphold it, and those who support it are happy. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. Turn us unto you, O Lord, and we shall return. Renew our days as of old. Okay, so we're going to read this now. Eitz Chaim Lamachazikim Ba Vetom Checha Meushar Deracheha Darchei Noam Vechol Netivoteha Shalom. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha V'nashuva Chadesh Yamenu Kekedem. I'm going to stop the share. Okay. The Torah service is central to the service. It's actually part of the Shacharit service, but it is so special. It's such a special part of the day that nobody even realizes it's still part of the Shacharit service. It's really just, it's a service unto itself. This part of the service is different for another reason. During Shacharit, and Musaf, the service that follows, we are talking to God. But when we get to the Torah service, God talks to us. We're reading those words, and God talks to us. So there are lots of rituals that have to do with the Torah service. Next week, we won't meet next week. It's Thanksgiving. But the following week, we'll talk about these procedures, and we're going to talk about an aliyah going up for that aliyah, which is an honor. And you should all be able to go up for that honor and read that bracha, those brachot. There are two, one before and one after. You should all be able to do it easily and never, ever turn down an aliyah. Always say thank you. I'd be honored, and take that aliyah, and don't be nervous. You can be nervous, but you have to do it anyway. Okay, so that's where we're going to start next. We're gonna go through those brachot for the Torah. We'll talk about all the different rituals about going up for that aliyah. Okay. Any questions before we stop? Dale?
Yeah, do you know what page the eight time song is?
Right.
I didn't see it in here, and I know it's
No,
here.
no. Which book are you using?
I'm in Lev Shalem.
Lev Shalem. In Lev Shalem, you will find Eitz Chaim on page, sorry. It is on page 184.
Wasn't that far back.
Okay, 184 in Lev Shalem. In Sim Shalom, it is on page.
I see it.
Torah service.
Got it.
In Sim Shalom, it is on page 426. And in Sim Shalom for Shabbat and holidays, my book, this one is full of stickies telling the pages, and it's in the Sim Shalom for Shabbat and holidays. It's on page 154. Eitz Chaim.
I have one more question.
Hmm?
In my Siddur for the eight time sore, the way, and I noticed it. It says in my prayer book, a time he limahazikima ba. So there's an extra word there, he. That's not in
You're
our.
right. You're right. Hold on. I'm checking all of them. Okay, so I don't have somewhere in a box downstairs in my basement, which I can't access right now because we've had a flood down there and we're waiting for the engineer to come and check out a crack in the foundation. So I can't access it right now, but I have an older Siddur. This textbook was written in like 1980 or something. What's its copyright? Okay, he wrote his introduction to the book in 1981. And these books are newer than that. And I've found lots of changes that the conservative movement made to our books. All three of these books have the word he in it. So I will make sure that when I'm going to make a note to myself that when we for Eitz Chaim, when we're reading it together, I'll scan a copy. I'll scan it from one of the Siddurim and share the screen that way.
I was worried it was a different song, and I was just remembering it differently.
I was reading from the textbook. I wasn't ever reading from my Siddur. I'm making a note.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving. You're gonna have 2 Shabbatot, so Shabbat Shalom doubly. And we're going to end by singing Hatikva. I will share the screen.
Barbara, I'm sorry, before we sing that, there's
Sure.
one word that keeps throwing me off and I'm messing up the whole tune. Ulifaate, is that how that is said?
Uh,
The
oh,
third
let me,
one down,
wait,
I have the printout.
hold on a minute. I just lost just a second. I have to end this. Because I lost everybody. I lost my Zoom contact. There we are. Okay. The question is about Hatikva.
Yes, the third, well, the word is Ulifaate, but when I sing it, I'm throwing off the whole, because I practiced this with a YouTube video that I really love, and I'm keep messing up that one word.
Okay, so when you're singing, it's different than when you are reading, and the composer or the person who's fitting lyrics to the music will sometimes change or slur things. I know that in a lot of prayers, the emphasis of a word, the way you would pronounce it when you're speaking changes when you're singing some of the different melodies so that you can fit the words in. Okay. Now I'm going to try to share the screen again. Let's see if I can get back here to the slideshow. Okay, you can all see that. I'm going to switch to, there we go. All right, I'm sorry. Here we go. Kol balevav panima nefesh Yehudi homiyah ulafate mizrach kadima ayin Zion Sophia Od lo avda tikvatenu, hatikva bat shnot alpayim, liotam chofshi be'artzenu, Eretz Zion b'Yerushalayim. Liotam chofshi be'artzenu, Eretz Zion b'Yerushalayim. Okay. I think I pronounced all the syllables in that word when I was singing it. Okay. Anybody have any questions, comments? Otherwise, everybody have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you. Happy birthday,
Thanks.
Deborah.
Happy birthday, Deborah. Happy birthday. Enjoy, enjoy. And I'll
Stay
see
safe,
you.
everyone.
Yes, be safe. If you're getting rain or snow right now, be grateful that there's water. Okay. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.